I have to say, the Georgia runoff elections on January the 5th, I'm going to say this out loud, they're more important than the presidential election. They are. They're that important.
How close is it?
Right now, it's neck and neck. And
for both races.
For both races, and there's money pouring in.
$200 million.
There's money pouring in from all over the country because these two races are effectively a referendum on socialism. So, if you keep the Senate red, then you can negotiate, I think, for smarter programs. If you get this blue wave and the Senate flips to the Democrats, and the Democrats control the House and the Senate and the administration, and they start to legislate in universal basic income, again, these are programs that are designed to pay people to not work.
Well, go there.
No pride in that.
Why don't we go there?
No pride in that.
Say it's January 6th. We wake up, the liberals win both, okay? So now it's 50-50 with the tiebreaker going to Kamala Harris, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say that.
So all of a sudden, Kamala Harris has power.
Exactly. And Kamala's more left than Biden is. But
more? Way.
Some call her further left than even Sanders, but let's just say she's more left than Biden is, right? Let's just keep that part. January 6th, they win both. What happens?
You get chatter about the new Green Deal. I mean, you're talking about...
Tell me chatter versus execution, because chatter has been going on. Do you think things will be executed?
Of course.
So give me what things would be executed. What do you think?
We are talking about health care for everybody. We're talking about universal basic income. We are talking about the idea of paying people to be out of work forever. And that is just so anti-American. We are not, we have no reason to vote socialism into law and kiss our economy goodbye and watch China rise up. Because I can guarantee you that if China is in any way interfering with this election, it is pouring money into those two Democratic candidates. Period, end. Full stop. Because if we go socialist, that is the nail in the coffin of capitalism. And we can kiss our reserve currency status goodbye. The greenback will no longer have hegemony on the world stage. All of these things. And we get inflation, by the way. And we get inflation because we stop worrying about debt and deficits when people running the country don't think that there's any consequence for a $10 trillion 2021, 2022 spending spree. So it's basically dogs and cats living together. It's anarchy.
But let's go there. Okay, let's just say it happens. Okay, and let's just say
do we have to?
Yeah, I want to go there. Let's just say universal basic income passes, and Andrew Yang becomes
Well, he's already said he's potentially running for mayor of New York City.
No.
So's a half dozen other people we can name. Yes.
Well, by the way, he's a credible name to run. Let's
viable.
So you valuable is the right word. Yeah. But let's just say we're there. January 6th happens. And then at this point of the game, everyone calls Biden. Now that you have it, AOC, the whole defense, we got to make climate change a part of that budget. Next is the universal basic income. Is next Medicare for all, health care for all, unemployment benefits extended, extreme regulation, extreme censorship. Everyone possible court packing that we can raise it from 7 to 9 to 11 to 13 to 15. Let's just say we go there.
The sky's the limit.
But let's just say we go there. The part that I want to ask, and I ask Larry Arnn, who's the president of Hillsdale College, which I don't know if you're familiar with Hillsdale College. They're one of the oldest universities. It's conservative. They've had some incredible people that have gone to their university. And they get also a lot of criticism because they're in Michigan. I think they're in Michigan. Kai, can you check to see where they're based out of? I think they're out of Michigan. So they're dealing with the governor, Whitmer, all that other stuff. The question I ask is, the Reagan quote, thank you. The Reagan quote, which is what? We're all one generation away from losing our freedom. Mm-hmm. Okay? We're one generation away from losing our freedom. Okay?
Well, that's true today.
Well, that's what I want to ask. Is it that scary to say, oh my gosh, we will never have what we had here because once we go here, it's a tipping point, you can't ever go back to it? Or is it just another time where people are just overly panicking and using their panic to make sure people vote on the right?
Okay, I'm gonna play Socrates here for a minute.
Go for it.
Have you ever seen any government program rolled out that was then rolled back?
Great question. I agree with you.
And You are.
But by the way, can you ask that one more time? No, it's very important. Can you ask that one more time?
Have you ever seen a government program rolled out that was not rolled back?
Do you mean Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid?
I mean, there's
welfare,
81.
Try canceling Social Security.
There's 81 different.
They try to talk
That's
about it.
what she's
I'm
saying.
not even talking about that. I'm talking about the 81 different social programs. And under the Obama administration, you had the quietest, stealthiest expansion of the social safety net in U.S. history because the Federal Reserve slammed interest rates down to 0% and allowed the country. If we ran it like a company, it would be a different country.
No doubt about it.
But allowed the debt to be run up magnificently. So that set the stage for where we are. But none of those programs have been even reformed, much less rolled back. And you're delivering a message to children. You're saying all that student debt, let's just take that $1.78 trillion, let's just expunge it. I mean, how does that make people like me feel, who had to work their asses off to pay off their student debt? Not so good. But you're teaching young Americans an un-American way of life.
And is it something you think that they would implement all the above, meaning cancel Social Security, Medicare for all, new Green Deal,
okay.
this, like...
So here we go.
Here's my follow-up question, so I can set you up, Danielle. In my opinion, maybe some of that gets done. I don't think all of it get done. I'd like to hear your response.
Because of the House.
Okay, and that's my next question.
It cannot because of the House. So.
Why? Well, that's my next question is, where do the midterm elections come into this?
Immediately. The midterm elections are already in play because they have dragged their feet on this stimulus bill in the dead of winter. So, however,
who's in play, though?
You have to go back 20 years to find as slim as a majority as we have right now in the House of Representatives. There was a quiet GOP revolution heading into this presidential election. You have to go back 20 years to find
Clinton,
a Congress
Gingrich,
with
and
a
all that?
slimmer, and it was a GOP Congress at the time, but they had the slimmest margin. Pelosi's got an even slimmer margin than that. So independents, moderate Democrats, are going to be easily swayed if you start to see some of socialism type light legislation passed. You're going to see Democrats and independents cross the aisle and vote against a lot of these programs.
Which I think is good. I think that's healthy for America.
That's what people don't appreciate is the House is not locked.
And
because of the slimness of the majority, because so many seats in the House of Representatives flipped to the GOP.
And even senators like my guy Joe Manchin in West Virginia, he's already come out and said, look, like, I'm a red state Democrat in West Virginia. I'm not just going to toe the Senate line. I'm going to. So I think that's something that is going to be very unique. And I think we understand that Biden is going to be the president. I said it. I think people are going to be willing to negotiate and broker deals and cross the line. And
but what I'm thinking
and do all that.
But it's a whole different dynamic than what we've been used to.
Here's where I'm going to. Here's where I'm going to. What leverage does the right have? If they win Senate, what leverage? So you come to the negotiating table. What leverage do you have? What's your leverage for that 2 years before midterms?
The Republicans.
The Republicans.
Well,
They're going to hold the line.
You don't have a ton of leverage, right? Because
what leverage do you have?
But remember, Biden ran on a platform that he was going to be a president of the entire country.
Everyone says that, though, and then Obama said that in his campaign as well.
And then if Kamala Harris doesn't gain the upper hand.
Well, she will, though, because if Senate wins both, then she...
If it does. If it does not. But
you
just said, what if the Senate stays red?
No. Okay, I'm sorry. What I was trying to say is, say they lose the Senate, and it's 50-50.
Then it's a crapshoot.
What leverage do Republicans have?
Very, very little.
What would it be? Actually, what would it be? You're at the negotiating table. You're Republican. Well, we're not going to pass...
Wait till 2022. We'll show you.
Okay, no problem.
We'll wait.
Well,
that whole thing you're saying?
That they have. So your midterms will be decided the minute any kind of legislation gets passed
you just said,
that is socialism.
What social program has ever been reverted back away?
True.
So you got 2 years to pass anything you want to pass. So what leverage do you have? Whatever you pass. I mean, Obamacare passed, and then Trump tried to, do anything to it. What happened to Trump? You don't care about this, and you don't. Jimmy Kimmel coming out and saying, this, and everybody coming out. Yeah. You are like a terrible
Trump's
human being.
still talking about trying to reverse Obamacare.
The risk, I think, is that if you get this blue wave, so you're anticipating massive deficits and rising taxes. I mean, you could put the economy into a tailspin.
What kind of taxes when you say rising taxes?
at the federal level, capital gains taxes. Think about all of the gains people are sitting on in the stock market right now. And what would happen, what the trickle-down effect would be. I mean, we ran a graph at Quill Intelligence a few days ago that shows that CEO confidence lags the S&P 500 by 1 quarter. In other words, CEOs make decisions about headcount based on where their stock is trading. So just imagine the
short-term thinking. You mean
very short-term thinking, but yet they're the ones that are that are in charge of the pink slips.
Danielle,
size of
let
their
me ask you a
headcount.
question. You said something, and I don't want to skip over that. You said massive deficits and also tax
Rising
increases.
taxes.
Isn't the whole point of tax increases to limit the massive deficits to try to balance budgets?
Tell
me about that.
It will be an apples and oranges situation. Complete apples and oranges.
How do you mean?
You
What
will
does that
have
mean?
billionaires pick their asses up and leave the country. Think about the exodus to Florida and Texas and the number of companies in the last week that have relocated to Texas
You're
from
saying
California.
not only leave
I'm saying
their
leave
state,
the country.
you're saying they're out.
Bye-bye.
And what happens to those people? Do they not pay taxes? Do they renounce their citizenship? Like go there, as Pat likes to say. What happens if they leave the country? These Americans that just, I'm out. I'm going to.
I mean, you can.
Norway with Kai.
You can renounce your citizenship if you want. If you're an expat, you still have to file taxes in the United States of America. You get a credit in the country in which you live.
So where are they going to? Why wouldn't they just go to Puerto Rico at that point? You're still in America, but you don't have to pay income taxes.
Okay,
in
now
Puerto Rico?
you've stumped me. I can't do the Puerto Rico.
I
question.
stumped Danielle DiMartino Booth. What? This I think alarm bells need to go.
420 state thing that they have. You only pay 4% in taxes for 20 years.
I have friends in Miami that have gone to Puerto Rico straight up. It's
Puerto Rico has become a tax haven. A lot of private equity guys, hedge fund guys.
That's what he's saying. Yeah, that's what he's saying. So
but other countries, you're saying that in the.
You're getting me ready for my Saturday evening bar mitzvah. I'm just letting you know.
this is
You're getting me in the mood.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.